It's another week and another brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before you go much farther, make sure you hit subscribe and tap that bell. You do not want to miss an episode. If you'd like to follow me, your host, you can go to rubylynne.bio where it's all things Ruby. I have so many questions about the biggest award show in the industry, the AVN Awards. I would like to know, how do you get chosen? Who votes? And all the interesting information. So, this week's guest is going to give us all of the deets. So, help me welcome Peter Warren of AVN. Peter, I'm so excited to have you on the Granny Panty Podcast this week. Thank you for making time.
Well, thank you for asking me. I'm honored.
Aw. Well, I have, had the pleasure of kind of getting to know you this spring on a couple different occasions. We ran into each other, and that was fun. That neither of them were business related. We weren't at a business event, so.
Yeah, not exactly.
Yeah. Not exactly.
Yeah.
I find it so hard to really get to know people or chat with them at any of those events.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough. And so you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I am. Most of the time. Not always.
It seems like year round, and I have so many questions for you. So I'm excited to kind of just dive right in.
Well, by all means, I hope I can answer your queries.
Oh, yeah, I bet you will. And we're going to have fun, too. I want it to be fun.
For sure.
I mean, after all, it is the Granny Panty Podcast.
That's right.
Can you share how you became involved with AVN and the show, and what kind of inspired you to take this job or this role?
Sure. So a long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, I came to LA in 2001. Okay, is when I moved here. With the ambitions of being a writer of some form. You know, at first I thought I was going to be a screenwriter, but that wasn't really in the cards. I don't think so. My next choice was to be a movie critic. And so I did do some mainstream movie criticism when I first moved here. On freelance basis for a number of different places, but having been an avid porn fan for many years, and working at a video store. I worked at a video store when I first lived here. We got AVN, and I would read AVN, and I'd known about AVN long before this. I watched the award show when I was in college, and I kind of knew what it was, but didn't know what it was. But then after I saw the magazine, I really knew what it was, and it became kind of my ultimate goal was, how do I get to write for AVN? And lo and behold, one day, job posting popped up on, I think, journalismjobs.com or something for AVN, and I immediately jumped on it and got an interview. And I came in and interviewed and was not hired right away, but they did make me a freelance. They made me a freelancer to start writing reviews.
Okay.
And
nice.
And not that long after that, I guess they were impressed enough with my reviews that I literally got a call one morning out of the blue saying, "Do you want to come work here full time?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And I mean, it wasn't exactly that simple, but one thing
Yeah.
led to another, and they hired me on full time, and I've just been there ever since,
And how
basically.
many years have you been with AVN?
This is actually last month, I think, marked year number 22.
22. Holy cow. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's a
long.
career.
It is. It definitely is.
You had your, I give you credit though. You knew what you wanted and you put it out there and you got it.
It's true. I have a friend who I grew up with who has always said that I'm the only person he knows who ended up doing exactly what I thought I was going to end up
I love that. I love that. So you started off as a writer, or you are a writer, and then how did it transition? I mean, tell me more. Are you still writing? I mean, for
doing.
people who are watching that don't know about AVN, so I have to ask the questions. And then how did you end up managing this huge award show that I can only imagine can be chaotic at best?
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. So first of all, yes, I very much am still a writer. I don't do as much of my own writing as I once did.
Mhm.
It's a lot more editing other people's writing, but like I mean, through the majority of the year, day in and day out, I'm dealing with like stories and press releases and
Mhm.
whatever for the website, and that's what I'm doing all day long, every day. Um, and the reviews and all that.
Mhm.
As a staff member, as an editor at AVN, and anybody
Mhm.
who is a full time member of the editorial staff of AVN is also involved with the awards as far as nominations and
Okay.
voting and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I was always involved from day one. Managerial kind of position after
Mhm.
Paul Fishbein, who founded AVN, left the company. At some point, he kind of like anointed me. He was like, "You're gonna run this now after me," and which is great, and I love it. Um,
Mhm.
and and so like I kind of took over for what he used to do with leading the whole nominations process and all that.
Gotcha.
Running the like I don't run the awards, but I guess I'm heavily involved with a lot of different aspects of like the awards, especially anything having to do with nominations, voting,
Mhm.
and as you're aware, tickets, talent coming to the awards. um, I've been in that position for a long time with overseeing all the seating for the awards, which
Oh
is
my gosh.
a monster. It's a monster.
You've gotta have the patience of a saint, that's all I gotta say. Or a lot of bourbon, and that's that would be my answer. And so, how has the AVN show kind of evolved since you began with AVN?
Well, I mean, there's definitely been an evolution. I mean, it's always
Mhm.
been like the biggest show. It was always
Right.
like uh, from the beginning. Kind of my number one thing was always like I'm gonna be at the AVN Awards someday. Like I'm
Oh,
gonna be
that's
there.
so cute.
And
Yeah.
um, even from what it was when I first started, it was still a giant show, but it was
Mm.
different from what it is now. In that, for one thing, it was not open to the public at all. It was completely industry only. It was in like a giant kind of dining hall at
Oh,
at the Venetian,
okay.
with a bunch of tables. Like it was all tables in this
Mhm.
giant hall, um, and it was like that for a couple of years, and then we moved to Mandalay Bay, and they did open it up and start selling tickets to the public, and then we were at Mandalay
Mhm.
Bay for a couple of years, and then we were at Palms for a couple of years, and I
Gotcha.
eventually we ended up at um, the Hard Rock, now the Virgin,
Right.
where thank God we're back there now. This was our first year back in that hotel, and it was great being back. I love that place. I think it's the best suited of all the places where we've had the show. Like I feel
Mhm.
like that is overall the best place for us. It just like we fit there somehow.
Mhm.
Um, and so anyway, back to how the show has evolved. When I first started, like it was not broadcast on Showtime. That happened while I was there. We started being on
Oh.
Showtime, and now I guess we're not on Showtime anymore, but we're on Adult Prime or
Yeah.
whatchamacallit, Amazon Prime. Yeah,
Amazon
uh,
Prime, yeah.
yeah, which is still cool. Um, and I guess we've always kind of had like big name comedians, big name bands play, and whatever. But I feel like they've gotten bigger and bigger over the years. Like this year with Jason Derulo, it was kind of like I remember telling a friend of mine the day we announced it. I was like, "We got Jason Derulo," and she was like, "Wow, you got like a real A-list celebrity." I'm like, "Yeah, we did," and he was awesome.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. I think the music is, definitely good. It gets the
Oh yeah,
crowd going, right? Kinda picks
it
up the
was.
pace and
Yeah, I felt that way too this year. That like it was really the vibe that
yeah.
that I always loved. It doesn't always hit it, but like this year, I thought it was like back how it's supposed to be. Like everybody was super excited into it and jumping up and dancing, and like it was great.
Can we get Motley Crue next year though, please?
I got nothing to do with it. I don't know, but I mean that would be pretty awesome. I can't deny it. I'd be
Let's
down
get
with
some
that.
80s rock in there.
Yeah. Well, we had one of my first years, maybe my first year, we had oh, what's the name of the band? Cherry something that does that song. Oh, you're so
Oh,
bitchin'. You're
Warrant?
so good. No, 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 no. It's Cherry
Warrant?
something. I'll think of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't cherry something. Cherry pie. No, that was a song.
No.
And I imagine the technology alone is what really a lot of evolution
Oh
as
yeah. I
well.
mean, it's such a huge production. Like people have no idea. When I've gone back and seen all the behind the camera stuff.
Right.
It's like it's huge. It's just
Yeah.
it's a mammoth thing.
And the show too. I mean, the actual AVN show, just the
Yeah.
booths and talent and fans, and I can't even imagine. That's like herding cats probably some days.
Well, yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Maybe most days. What do you think some of the most significant challenges have been in organizing the show as time has went on? Because, like you said, it started in a small dining hall, and just kept building. And now it's
Yeah.
huge.
I mean, you know, I can't really speak to organizing the expo so much because I don't really have any hand in that. I'm sure it's
Okay.
a giant nightmare that I would never want to be a part of. But you know, I don't know. Like every aspect of it is a challenge because when
Yeah.
you're dealing with awards nominations, it's kind of like we always say. There's so many mouths to feed. There's so many people
Yeah. Yeah.
that trying to like make everybody happy, which is impossible. You can't make
Yeah.
everybody happy. There's just no
Can't do
way.
it.
But we do the best we can.
Yeah.
And it's just like all the politics of just everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
figuring out.
Politics.
Oh, there's so many politics. It's insane.
Gotta love that. Speaking of which, that just leads me right into my next question. It's perfect. How does the AVN show ensure diversity and inclusion among performers, genres, and different backgrounds? How have you guys addressed that?
Well, I think that we really make like a very stern effort every year with the awards, the nominations, acknowledge the widest breadth of talent that we can,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally like every category. We go because we figure out every category one by one. So like every one of them,
Mm-hmm.
like we're always concerned with like, do we have enough diversity here? Are there enough
Yeah.
different kinds of people recognized? And
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, I think we do a pretty good job of it. There's always people who are gonna be naysayers and
Right.
complain that we're not, but you know, they also don't understand what things look like from our side of the table, and
Yeah.
uh, I think I think we do the best job we can of realistically
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the most diverse group we can in every category, who are all genuinely worthy of that recognition. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And so that is a question I have, and I think maybe a lot of people viewing this who aren't in the industry have is what is the nominee selection process? What's the criteria? How do scenes and people get nominated for AVN?
Well, it's a long and painful process. It all starts about the middle of August when we open it up for people to submit pre-noms to us.
Okay.
And anybody in the industry can submit pre-noms for whatever they want to us. Um,
Okay.
and then we take we take all of that and pile it all up together, and then we have a committee
Okay.
um, of about 6 or 7 people, something like that, who like we we literally meet almost daily. Well, no, not daily. We meet about like 2 or 3 times a week for about
Okay.
6 or 7 weeks,
Wow.
all day long, um, going through all of the submissions, and
Mhm.
I mean that's just like as a group, and then in between meetings we go home and do homework and figure stuff out on our own, and then
Yeah.
come back to the meetings and we sort it all out. And magic rule to it or anything, it's all a
Okay.
very organic process, but
Mhm.
I think it's very democratic, it's very honest, and everybody who's on the committee is very serious about it.
Mhm.
And I I think it works.
And the committee selects the winners then in each of those
Well,
categories that have
no,
been submitted?
once we have the nominees, then it opens up to like a larger pool of voters
Okay.
who vote on the nominated stuff.
Okay. Okay. Got you. And, so a performer could submit their scene or a studio or you can get
Absolutely.
submissions? Okay. Okay.
Of course,
And
the most common thing I always run into with performers submitting their stuff is every year I get like a million questions from
yeah.
talent who are like, because part of the submission is that you're supposed to give us, a way to see what you're submitting. So we ask for like logins to websites and all that. So like, I'm always getting asked like, do I have to give you a login? Because I don't have a login. Do you have a login to this site and that site and whatever site? And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But it's tough because I understand like the talent might not necessarily have a login to for whatever it is that they're trying to submit, but eh, you know
Okay.
ideally it's like, okay, well, if you want us to seriously like consider what you're submitting, then we need to have a way to look at it so that we can consider it,
Right.
you know
So, what I hear you saying then is you don't have to shoot for a studio to submit your scene, right? You could do a collaboration as
well,
with someone and
right.
it's on ManyVids, it's on OnlyFans?
Stuff like what you're talking about, creator content, is not eligible for the main awards, but we have the categories in the fan awards that it's eligible for.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so, yeah, like for those categories, yeah, absolutely, you can submit it.
Okay.
It
And
just,
that was like my next question. What's the difference?
yeah, it's and it's, I don't know, it's a whole thing, but we have the fan categories for the creator content that you can submit, but
Okay.
that stuff is not eligible for the regular ones. It's just
Okay. Okay.
the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, I knew that, but somebody watching who's new, maybe they're a new creator and they're like, "Hey,
No, it's
I
true.
wanna
But
submit for AVN."
I also kind of think I believe it's better that way because really I feel like the creator content should more be decided by the fans because the fans are the ones watching it. Like
Yeah.
we deal with studios. Like we're not we're not looking at
Yeah.
OnlyFans stuff and minivan stuff and whatever, but like the fans who are buying that stuff, like they should be the ones who
Right.
are weighing in on it. I feel like.
Yeah. And there's a lot of crossover too. The fan
Yeah.
stuff
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a
is
lot.
a lot of the studio stuff as well. That must be your phone
No, no,
or
no.
your computer.
Oh, it's my. I'm just getting a ding of an email or something.
Oh, someone's
I can
looking for you.
I can shut that off.
Oh, you're fine. You just tell him you got a date with RubyLynne. We are talking here. We are talking. This is my
That's right.
time.
Exactly.
So, I'll finish up my like AVN show, like statistic questions, and we'll get into the fun stuff.
Okay.
You're like, fun? What is the vision for the AVN show? Like, what over the next 5 years? What's the vision for how the show will be?
Well, I wish I could
Do you need
tell
another
you.
shot of bourbon?
I mean, I just hope that we keep going the way we're going. As I was saying, like last year's show, I thought was like a big hit. I got almost no complaints from anybody. I heard nothing but good stuff. Everybody seemed to love it. It was really fun. It went off really
Mhm.
well, smooth. And yeah, I hope we just like keep up that momentum because we had a few years there that were really really rough with COVID.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're back in our swing now, and I just want to see us keep like going in that direction.
Right, right. And I'm only 5 years in the industry, so I'm probably still new and a bit of a baby, but I heard a lot from people who have been in it much longer than me about the change in venue, how that, wasn't a great fit, they didn't think. I have no opinion about it because I wasn't, here before that,
Right.
but you
Yeah. I
saying that
mean,
back now to where you were this past year is a
yeah,
much better fit.
it's way better. 100%.
Yeah, and how does the show deal with, like, the stigma of the adult industry, when you're promoting and things like that?
I mean, I don't think that's even an issue for us because when we're in Vegas, when our show is going on, it's everywhere. It's on all the billboards. It's all over the hotel. It's like, I mean, it's not. We're not fighting
Yeah.
any censorship or anything like that.
Okay, that's good, that's good.
Everybody knows who we are. They know what we're there for, and you know, it's
And
fine.
it brings in, people to Vegas. It's industry, it's
Well,
money
yeah,
for
that too, and especially I keep seeing headlines about like Vegas is hurting and nobody's coming to Vegas, but they come to our show.
Yeah. Well, and I've had several guests on my show who have ended up in the industry or as a photographer for the industry because they went to the show as a fan,
Right.
originally. So that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, I hear
So,
stories like that every now and again, which is cool. I like that.
yeah. Okay. So now we're going to get into some fun stuff.
Oh,
Spill the tea, Peter. What's the wildest, most unforgettable moment you've witnessed at the AVN Awards or putting it on? Give me the goods.
ooh, um, well, I don't I don't know if this quite qualifies as what you're describing, but one thing I'll never forget is is one year when we were at the Palms. I remember
Mm.
um, there was some party that was happening somewhere, and I'm just like standing in the casino, and Tommy Gunn taps me on. I run into Tommy Gunn, and he's like, "Hey, Peter, I want to introduce you to somebody." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And I see just like the back of somebody with his head to me, right? The back of his head, and Tommy goes and taps the guy on the shoulder, turns around. It's Richard Dreyfuss,
Oh,
and and I'm like, "Whoa."
nice.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, this is Peter Warren. He writes for AVN." But and he shakes my hand. He's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your magazine." I'm like, "Woo, okay, well, it's an honor to meet you, sir. Like,
That's
that was
cool.
kind of crazy.
Anything else? Like,
Mm,
didn't catch anybody behind the stage you getting it on when after the awards or during or something? Nothing crazy like that?
no, not really. But I mean, there's stuff like a million years ago. I remember a girl. I won't even say who, but
Yeah, no, we don't want any
that girl
names.
got carted away from the Circle Bar. Oh well, there was this thing called the Circle Bar. You probably heard people mention it. Got carted away because she like OD'd on something, and then like on the way out was like, "Hey, I'm okay." Uh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
overdoing it.
stuff happens.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So one question I had, which I figured this is coming, as a mature creator, I've seen, you know, and I hope we continue to see more mature scenes, more mature themes, GILF, that kind of thing. How do you get a new category in AVN? How can we get a GILF category?
Well, I mean, uh, first of all, we gotta decide, what do you mean by a GILF category? Do you mean like a GILF performer category, a GILF scene category, a GILF movie category? What are we
Yes.
talking about? All of the above.
Well, because here's my thing, and I've been very, very vocal about this. There's a lot of MILF categories everywhere. And even, young young ladies in the MILF category competing with those of us who truly are MILFs, have kids. Some of us have 10 grandkids like myself. And so I would love to see a movement to kind of separate from the MILF a little bit
Right.
because, once you hit that 50-ish,
Yeah.
it's a whole different thing. We're kind of past the MILF, but yet as far as awards go, we're still competing with the 30-year-olds who do MILF scenes. And so, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
it
well,
chaps my hide.
hopefully we're not putting any GILFs into the same realm as the MILFs, but what it all boils down to is there enough to make a category out of? Because now, currently anyone who's like GILF or any GILF kind of stuff we put into niche, which is kind of a catch-all of
Okay.
whatever is not somewhere else. um, but if there was like enough to make a category out of, we would do it.
Okay.
Let's just
So if we see studios doing more ultra mature, I call it, GILF stuff, then
yeah,
that would warrant adding a
yeah,
category. Okay.
sure.
Okay. Um, so another question I had is cam girls and clip queens like me, we hustle daily, but we also do studio stuff. What's one thing you'd tell a naughty 50 plus creator to focus on if they want to snag an AVN nod?
Well, um, I mean, it depends on, again, if we're talking about fan categories versus regular
Mhm.
categories, but more than anything, I'd say if you put it in front of our face and say, "Hey, this, this is something I did that I think is really award worthy, and here's why, then we will look at it and we will take it into consideration, and we will, you know, we will do our due diligence with it.
Awesome. I'm trying to think. I wrote all my questions down because, I am 50 and might not remember them.
It's okay.
And I had really fun one at the end. So hypothetically, if I showed up to the AVN red carpet wearing nothing but a trench coat, would security tackle me or would they cheer me on and let me in?
That's that might be outside my wheelhouse a little bit. I mean, I think if you're wearing a trench coat and they don't see whatever is underneath the trench coat, then you're probably fine. But if you opened up the trench coat and there was nothing underneath there, you might be in trouble.
That was kind of my goofy question,
Yeah,
my nod to the Academy Awards.
yeah, I know.
Oh gosh. I have learned so much
Well, good.
from you tonight. So thank you for
Absolutely.
being on the
Well,
show. You do a lot of hard work and like I said, I can't even imagine because uh all of us, we're all attention whores is what I call it.
yeah, I
We're
know.
all in front of the camera. I get that all the time when I'm on TikTok, some troll come in and say, "You're just an attention whore." Yeah. Yeah. And your point is that's why I'm live everywhere. But I can't imagine just what you deal with. So thank you
My pleasure.
for all you do and keeping it together because it is, the show goes on. It's an amazing
That's right.
show. It's an amazing show. So all your hard work.
Well, thank you.
So August, huh, is when you start going through everything.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's a ways off still, so I'm not
Yeah,
thinking
right?
about that
You
yet.
need to take a vacation before then.
Yes, yes.
So, well, I appreciate you being on the show. It was so fun to get to know you more.
Thank you so much. I'm
And
glad you asked.
if anyone has questions, they can go to avnawards.com.
No, yeah, avnawards.com, avn.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much.